So I want to talk to you for a moment about a case that was filed in the Circuit Court for Frederick County, Maryland. This was a case that just had its final disposition issued, and it relates to a petition for a writ of administrative mandamus. Now, follow me on this for a minute, guys. If you're unfamiliar what a mandamus is, that is a petition you can file against a government agency, and you can seek a judicial review of a decision. So if an administrative body, a governmental agency, comes to a decision, an administrative decision, and you are unhappy, you think that decision is unfair, does not follow the law of the state of Maryland or local ordinances, you can seek to file what is called a writ of mandamus, and you can have that challenged in your local circuit court. Well, that is exactly what two farmers in Thurmont, Maryland did, that being Bradley and Amber Seiss. And this, again, like I just said earlier, we're not going to spend a lot of time on this video. It was a relatively short case period. It was filed in, I believe it was filed in October. Yeah, right here, October 25th, 2023, and there was a final disposition on the matter as it relates to the middle of January of this year. So I want to bring this to you, and first where I want to talk about the backbone of the case, which relates to what is referred to as the Critical Farms Program, Frederick County, Maryland's Critical Farms Program. Now, in this news release here that we're going to bring to you, it sort of does an overview as to what that particular is, because that is, like I said, that is sort of the backbone for the topic of the petition for the writ of mandamus filed in the circuit court. So I want to read this news release right here, and it's not very long. I'm going to read it verbatim. This was a statement put out by Frederick County government on May 2nd, 2023. It says, the Frederick Agricultural Land Preservation Program has opened up an application cycle for the Frederick County Critical Farms Program. The Critical Farms Program assists full-time farmers in purchasing farmland and also works to preserve the land. Since the Critical Farms Program began in 1994, it has assisted 60 farmers in acquiring farms and preserved more than 8,400 acres of farmland. The program was created to help farmers compete with non-farmer buyers who oftentimes have resources not available to farmers and therefore are in a more competitive position to buy farmland. Through the program, the county pays the farm buyers for an option to acquire an easement. The option agreement requires the new farm owner to apply to either the state easement program and/or other governmental land preservation programs for a period of 5 years. In order to apply, applicants must have a ratified contract of sale on a farm that meets the program's minimum criteria. Interested applicants should contact Land Preservation Planner Shannon O'Neill, so on and so forth. Well, this is where we get into the petition for writ of mandamus, again filed on October 25th, 2023. And we'll just bring you some of it. It's only a 2-page complaint that was filed in the circuit court, and it was filed again by Bradley and Amber Seiss. Again, they reside in Thurmont. The petition was against the county executive for Frederick County, but it's more so against the Frederick County government as a whole. To single out the county executive and say that it's more or less against her would not do it justice. This is a petition against Frederick County, Maryland, Frederick County government. And it starts off this complaint by saying, comes now petitioners Bradley and Amber Seiss by and through their attorneys Ian Bartman, pursuant to Maryland Rule 7401, hereby request a writ of administrative mandamus and judicial review of the decisions and actions of Jessica Fitzwater, County Executive of Frederick County, Maryland, who is the respondent, in contravention of Rule 11334 of the Frederick County Code. Respondent failed to follow the law established by Frederick County when A, she accepted more than one list of active applicants with ranking compiled by the program administrator of the fiscal year 23 Critical Farm Program, and B, she selected and is using a list of active applicants with ranking that is not based on the approved scoring and ranking by the Frederick County Agricultural Preservation Advisory Board and is not based on that board's decision with respect to the ranking system. The actions and decisions of the respondent resulted in the application filed by petitioners for the Frederick County fiscal year 2023 Critical Farms Program being ranked lower than it should have been on the list of active applicants with ranking that was selected by the respondent for preliminary approval, and will certainly injure petitioners in the event that the respondent grants preliminary approval to more than one applicant for the Frederick County fiscal year 2023 Critical Farms Program. Both petitioners were applicants for the Critical Program 23 cycle, participated in the application process and proceedings before the Frederick County Agricultural Advisory Board for the Frederick County FY23 Critical Farms Program process, and have been adversely affected and harmed by the aforementioned actions and decisions of the respondent. So again, that right there is the complaint that was filed on October 25th. So to follow that up, I sort of just want to clarify what is being alleged in this complaint as I understand it. So what is being alleged from what I read in this document is that there is a particular ranking system, there is a particular process that is laid out by Frederick County's Agricultural Preservation Advisory Board. There's a certain system, a ranking system, a system that has to happen in order for X, Y, and Z to take place. And what the complaint alleges is that there were fundamental, systematic guideline, procedural errors that were not followed in this decision, which resulted in a lower ranking system score than other people who applied for the Critical Farms Program. Now, I want to be clear what that particularly means, how that adversely affects the petitioners. That I'm unclear about, but what they're saying is that there was some particular law on the books, Frederick County Code law in place that was not followed, and there were procedural guidelines that were not adhered to, is what it seems like is the issue in this petitioner application against Frederick County government. Now, Frederick County government received a copy of that complaint. They responded with an answer on December 27th, 2023, right just before the new year, and they filed an answer to that petition for administrative mandamus, and they also filed a request, a motion to dismiss the whole case on December 27th as well. And in that answer / motion to dismiss, they write the following. The county writes, "It is admitted that petitioner did in fact apply to the county for participation in the Frederick County Critical Farms Program. Per Frederick County Code, through the CFP, the county offers to purchase agricultural conservation easements on qualified parcels through the state of Maryland Agricultural Land Preservation Foundation. Because funding for the CFP can vary, the code establishes the process." It goes on to lay out some of the processes for the CFP, the Critical Farms Program. It says applications received for the CFP are reviewed by county staff within the Division of Planning and Permitting, Department of Agricultural Preservation. The staff utilize a rubric to score the applications based on priority criteria as detailed in Exhibit A. It goes on to list some of the statutes in Frederick County's Agricultural Code. It says all information regarding eligibility criteria and scoring of individual farm property will be presented to the Frederick County Agricultural Preservation Advisory Board based on the eligibility criteria and the scoring. The Frederick County Agricultural Preservation Advisory Board will decide whether to include the farm in the ranking system. The program administrator will compile a list of active applicants ranked from the highest approved score to the lowest approved score. Each active applicant shall be informed of the applicant's position in the ranking. It goes on to say, with regard to the petitioner's application for purchase of an easement under the Critical Farms Program, the Seiss application was reviewed by county staff and scored in accordance with the adopted Critical Farms ranking system referred to above. The application materials and scoring sheet were provided to the board for its review and consideration at an open meeting on July 24, 2023. At that time, the board fulfilled its statutory responsibility to advise the county executive that petitioner's application was eligible for the Critical Farms program and also included it in a recommended ranking of all applications. The answer starts to close out by saying respondents specifically deny the allegations in the petition that the code was contravened when the county executive considered more than just the ranking approved by the board when ultimately granting preliminary approval of all the applications. Per the code, the county executive has no further involvement in the process of administrating the Critical Farms program. The court is without jurisdiction on the subject matter of this petition as there has been no final administrative action taken by respondents, and therefore the petitioners cannot prove that they have suffered any harm. So what they're saying is that nothing is set in stone yet. Basically, if they want to complain about their ranking in the Critical Farms program, they don't have standing to do that yet because no final decision on the subject matter has been issued. And with that, the answer/motion to dismiss concluded with asking the court to throw out the case, have it dismissed on a litany of grounds, and that was ultimately granted. That motion to dismiss was granted January 24th in the circuit court. So a final disposition in the case was rendered, and we wanted to bring that to you. At this point, we have reached out for comment from the petitioners. We have not heard back at this time, but something unusual. You don't see a lot of mandamus cases filed here, but one certainly came up, and we wanted to talk about it. So bottom line is that in this ranking system, it appears that the Seiss family ranked third based off of the documentation that we have. They ranked third in that ranking system, that rubric scoring sheet between the 5 applicants that applied for the Critical Farms program. And evidently they had believed that this was not right and that an improper scoring system was being used, one that did not fit under the Frederick County Code, the Frederick County rules, the established law. They thought that this system was sort of being perverted in a way, but evidently the Circuit Court for Frederick County disagrees. They ruled in favor of Frederick County government, and as of now, this case is closed. It will not be moving forward, and it was a relatively short situation, just about 3 months. And with that, we will catch you soon. Levi Trumbull reporting in Frederick, Maryland.